Welcome to Infinite Novel. Subscribe for more epic stories. All rights to original creators. It's for a good cause, I swear.
Chapter 16 Disclaimer: I do not own Naruto. Okay, now that the preliminary matches are over, Hokage-sama will be explaining the third and final phase of the exam, which will take place 1 month from today, Obito announced. Why a month from now? Kiba asked. Because some of you have shown everything you have in the preliminary matches and need time to learn some new techniques, and others have been injured and need the time to recuperate, Obito answered. So in that regard, I suppose Naruto doing nothing but standing there was actually good thinking. Of course, Naruto nodded sagely. Want to bet that didn't even occur to him? Sasuke asked. Sakura snorted. I may have been taught by Tsunade-sensei, that doesn't mean I have her gambling addiction or lack of common sense when it comes to taking bets. A little support would be nice, team, Naruto huffed. What? Sakura asked innocently. We're not disputing that it was a smart move, we just don't think it was an intentional one. That said, if anyone should do anything that. Obito struggled for the most tactful way to phrase it, uninspired in the actual finals. I'm telling you now, you're not going to pass. Quite right, Minato agreed. Now, the third part of the exam is an elimination-style tournament. This tournament will be open to the public and many important foreign leaders will also be attending, which is another reason for the delay. Even if you do not win your match, if the judges, which include both myself and the Kazekage, feel you are qualified, then you will pass. This means that anywhere from 0 to all 10 of you could potentially become Chuunin. Still, winning is a good idea as you will have more chances to impress the judges, and the winner usually ends up coming off better in a fight. Remember, though, brute strength isn't all that's required to be a Chuunin. You must also show some skill in strategizing, dealing with the unexpected, when it is better to temporarily retreat, and above all you must meet a minimum sanity requirement. I know many of the best shinobi are often rather unbalanced, so the bar isn't very high, but we've learned the hard way that dangerously unstable genin who go on to become dangerously unstable Chuunin and have access to more power is rarely, if ever, a good thing. Any questions? What, exactly, is the minimum sanity requirement? Gaara spoke up. We look down on spontaneous killing of allies, maniac laughter, a personal issue you habitually let get in the way of your fights, and anyone more youthful than Madogai, Minato replied. Any other questions? No one said anything, so after a moment, he continued with Anko's going to be coming around with a box full of paper slips. You are each to draw one and the number you have will determine your match UPS in the tournament. Don't worry, Gaara, Naruto assured him. Anko met the MSR. Barely, I'm sure, but still. MSR, Temari asked. Minimum sanity requirement, Naruto responded. Anko stepped forward with aforementioned box and went around to the 10 genin still in the examination and had them each pick a number. Kiba noticeably tensed when she got near him, but Anko did no more than smirk at him, probably because both her fiancé and Yandane were watching. Alright, one by one I want each of you to tell me what number you picked and Ibiki will let you know where you've ended up in the tournament, Minato instructed once they were finished. 1. Shino began. 9. Kiba said. 3. Naruto said. 7. Sakura said. 10. Sasuke said. 4. Lee shouted. Niji rolled his eyes. 8. 6. Temari said. 2. Said Gaara. Shikamaru yawned. 5. Okay. Ibiki said, filling in people's names by their number. That means the first round is Shino vs Gaara, Naruto vs Lee, Shikamaru vs Temari, Sakura vs Niji, and Kiba vs Sasuke. Naruto gulped and quickly stepped to the other side of Sasuke, but Sakura was too busy gaping in horror to do anything to him for jinxing her. For the moment, at least. The winner of the first match will get a bye. Ibiki started to say. Wait, I thought there were no buys. Kankuro interrupted. Didn't the proctor say that back when what's-his-name quit? Why wouldn't they have to fight themselves? That's only if there were an odd number, Obito explained. 10 people is a nice, even, number, so a bye is acceptable in this case. You people are all insane, Kankuro said flatly. Temari elbowed him. Be more polite to the people who can make our attempts to become Chuunin a lot harder. Why? Kankuro asked. I'm already out. But I'm not, Temari reminded him. And I have to fight the laziest person I have ever met. How in the world am I supposed to make that match awesome? Sorry, Kankuro apologized. As I was saying, Ibiki continued, glaring darkly at Kankuro for daring to interrupt him. The winner of the second match faces the winner of the third, and the winner of the fourth match faces the winner of the fifth. After that, the winner of the first and last match of the second round will face each other, while the winner of the second gets a bye, and then the two still in the competition will face off. Damn, Sasuke swore. What's wrong? Naruto asked, still hiding behind him. If I win all my fights, I have one more match than my opponent, Sasuke explained. Sucks for you, Naruto said flippantly. Sasuke turned and glared at him. I wouldn't be so uncaring towards my human shield if I were you. Naruto risked a glance at Sakura and saw that she had sufficiently recovered from her shock and was advancing menacingly on him. I'm sorry. Please don't let her kill me. So all of your kids made it to the finals, Obito noted as the two of them sat in Kakashi's living room once the exam had officially been halted for the month. Kakashi sighed mournfully. Yeah, they did. That's a good thing, Obito reminded him. You wanted them to make it, didn't you? Of course I did, Kakashi snapped. Good, because for a second there I was starting to worry that you were trying to infect them with the springtime of youth, and if that were the case, well. Obito trailed off dramatically. I just don't think I would have known you anymore. Kakashi rolled his eyes. I'm not that evil as to wish that on somebody. Although forcing them to do it is another matter entirely, Obito said sarcastically. Choosing to ignore the sarcasm, Kakashi nodded. Exactly. So why are you so upset if you got what you wanted? Obito asked. They can't pass the exam if they're not in the finals. Sasuke can beat Kiba, no doubt about it, Kakashi explained. I think Naruto can beat Lee, but even if he can't he'll give a good show. Sakura, however, it's not like I don't have in the girl, because I do, it's just, she's up against Neji. The only way this would be worse was if she were up against Gaara. Well, that's something, right, Obito said, trying to be optimistic. I guess, Kakashi conceded. But she's going to lose. And badly. You didn't tell her that, did you? Obito asked anxiously. Because even if you think she doesn't stand a chance, encouragement is a lot more productive than discouragement. Unless the person being encouraged is Sasuke and the subject is revenge, Kakashi murmured. And then it is a very bad idea, indeed, no matter how much Anko might want a kindred spirit. So you didn't tell her, did you? Obito repeated. Kakashi shook his head. Didn't need to. Why do you think she attacked Naruto after the match UPS were announced? Obito shrugged. She didn't pass the minimum sanity requirement. No, she does, Kakashi assured him. Especially after she integrated that split personality of hers. What's this about a split personality? Obito asked, concerned. It's all gone, no need to worry, Kakashi insisted. If you say so, Obito said, still sounding suspicious. She's sane enough, Kakashi said dismissively. But still, Neji. He seemed skilled from what I saw, Obito agreed. But then again, his fight was over in 2 hits, so it is entirely possible that Tsunagai was just really pathetic. He's not, Kakashi reported. And it's not just that Neji's insanely good. Then what is it? Obito prompted. He's Guy's student, Kakashi responded. Obito said knowingly. You don't want to lose to your eternal rival. Kakashi groaned. Not to sound like Neji or anything, but it's seriously starting to seem like I'm fated to be Guy's rival. You're the one who ignored his speech about youthfulness when you first met and convinced him you were hip, Obito pointed out. What can I say? Kakashi asked rhetorically. I was feeling nostalgic. Nostalgic? Obito queried, puzzled. And if that weren't bad enough, Kakashi said loudly, ignoring the question. Naruto's fighting Lee, who is also Guy's student and is, what's more, his protege. If either of them lose, or God forbid, both, I will never live this down. Ever. Obito was quiet for a moment. Then, so should I start looking into long-term missions now or closer to the task itself? Kakashi threw a pillow at him. Tsunade-sama, Sakura asked, walking up to her once and hopefully soon-to-be mentor at her office in the hospital. Yes, Tsunade asked, gratefully looking up from her stack of paperwork. My name is Haruno Sakura and I've made it to the final part of the Chuunin exam, Sakura began. I'm up against Hyuga Neji and I'm really going to need all the help I can get. Why come to me? Tsunade asked neutrally. I'm a medic and that won't do much good against a Hyuga. Not if you have any standards of ethics, no, it won't, Sakura agreed, thinking of Kabuto. But this isn't just about the exams. Really? Tsunade raised her eyebrows. I think I recognize your name. You're on Kakashi's team, right? Sakura nodded. I am. I've heard that you're intelligent and have a strong spirit, Tsunade remarked. And also that if you don't make Chuunin he's making you train with Guy for a year. That seems like a pretty strong incentive. The strongest, Sakura admitted. But that's not my only reason. If I don't pass this time, there will be other times. I'd really like to pass this time, for my sanity if nothing else, but I can handle it if I don't. I intend to be a medic, though, and I know you're the best. Even if you can't help me with Neji, which I refuse to believe, just so you know, you'll be able to help me help my team when all of this is over. Tsunade studied her for a moment. It's not easy to train a medic nin, you know. Medical ninjas require different skills compared to ninjas who focus on fighting. You must have every aspect of your chakra control refined to perfection, study a large amount of specialized knowledge, have the ability to apply that knowledge and never give up. I know, Sakura said seriously. It's not like I know nothing the subject. I've studied quite a bit and have put in a lot of hours at the hospital since I've graduated. All things considered, I'm pretty good at it. But I could always be better and I need to be better, because God knows Naruto and Sasuke don't actually understand the meaning of you can't do it, you're going to get yourself killed, or you're in over your head. A small smile came to Tsunade's lips. Is that so? Sakura nodded vehemently. Oh, you have no idea. And now with Orochimaru after Sasuke, I know he's in custody, but I can't help but worry. They're so reckless, it's like they're trying to get themselves killed and it's up to me to try and stop them. Alright, Tsunade agreed. I'll train you, but I'm not taking it easy on you from now on, she warned. Sakura beamed. Excellent. The finals are in only a month, after all. My teammates and I passed the preliminaries, Sasuke announced. Itachi looked up from the scroll he was reading. Congratulations. You don't sound very surprised, Sasuke noted. I'm not, you're very talented. You don't sound very excited, Itachi countered. It's just the preliminaries, Sasuke explained. I'm going to have to fight Kiba, no big deal, then either Neji or Sakura, then Gaara, then either Naruto or Lee all within a couple of hours. You don't have to win the tournament in order to pass, you know, Itachi pointed out. You did, Sasuke burst out. On your first try when you were 10. I was also a genin for 3 years as opposed to your 3 months or so, Itachi reminded him. But this isn't about what I did, this is about you. Sasuke sighed. I know. I just really need to pass this. Desperately. A small smile crossed Itachi's face. So, I've heard. I've also heard you have a month before you have to be ready. Would you like me to help you? Yes, Sasuke said practically before his brother finished offering. Some things never did change. Train me, Naruto ordered. Not interested, Jiraiya said, scribbling away on his notes. You're my godfather, you have to be interested, Naruto said, rolling his eyes. I don't remember signing anything, Jiraiya insisted. That doesn't necessarily mean you didn't, Naruto claimed. For all you know my dad slipped you the form while you were busy ogling the girls at the onsen. That sounds more like something Kushina would do, Jiraiya mused. Naruto just shrugged. Well, since the godparents are generally decided upon prior to the baby being born, she presumably had a say in it, too, so that very well could have happened. I've got research to do, get your dad to train you, Jiraiya said. My dad's kind of busy being the Hokage and orchestrating the exam, Naruto pointed out. Then get Kakashi to train you, Jiraiya tried again. He threatened to send me to the closet pervert, Naruto complained. Ebisu's not that bad, Jiraiya felt compelled to defend his fellow pervert, even if he was closeted about it. Not when it comes to the basics, no, but I've already long since mastered those, Naruto informed him. Then what do you want me to teach you? Jiraiya challenged. The cool stuff, Naruto replied promptly. Jiraiya raised his eyebrows. The cool stuff, huh? Naruto nodded eagerly. And I want to sign a summon contract. You've got grand ambitions, kid, Jiraiya said fondly. So will you do it? Naruto asked hopefully. I'm going to need some incentive, Jiraiya hinted. I'll show you my Hermya no Jutsu, Naruto offered. Absolutely not, Minato cut in. Chapter 17 Disclaimer, I do not own Naruto. Note, yeah, it really didn't take Sakura much effort to convince Tsunade to train her when originally she mostly agreed because of the lost teammate connection, but now Tsunade's not Hokage, has been in Konoha for a while, Sakura's not a complete novice, they have reckless idiot teammates in common, and she only agreed for the month before the finals, which is a lot less of a commitment than becoming her apprentice. Although should Sakura decide to seek that position in the future, she will already have a foot in the door. So did you find out if you got promoted yet? Kaisuke asked his daughter. Sakura shook her head. The exam's not over yet. Then shouldn't you be doing some exam type thing? Mamako asked. We're having a month-long break before the final stage, which is an elimination-style tournament, Sakura explained. It's open to the public, so if you guys want to come, feel free. Her parents exchanged a look. I'm not sure, Sakura, Mamako said slowly. You might get hurt. Sakura couldn't help rolling her eyes. That's kind of comes with the territory, Mom. I know that. Mamako exclaimed. But knowing and seeing are two different things and it would just make me worry more. On the other hand, this seems to be a pretty big deal and I've heard all sorts of foreign dignitaries are going to be arriving, Kaisuke noted. How do you think you're doing so far? My team and I have been doing pretty well, Sakura said modestly. But the next part is testing us individually and I'm up against Niji. And that's bad? Mamako asked cautiously. He's insanely talented, Sakura replied. But I'm going to give it my all anyway and hope that even should I lose I'll put on a good enough show to pass anyway. You should be more confident, Kaisuke told her. I'm sure you'll do fine. Yes, you've worked very hard these past few months and you should be proud of yourself, Mamako agreed. I better do more than fine, Sarika said. Otherwise, that much springtime of youth will haunt me forever. What on earth is the springtime of youth? Kaisuke wondered. Sakura shuddered. Trust me, you don't want to know. I will never understand ninja, Mamako declared, shaking her head. That's probably for the best, Sakura told her. Now I have to go as Naruto called a team meeting before I have to meet with Tsunade-sama. She probably should have left already, but Naruto had given her a heads up about the subject matter and she was just as uncertain about how to break the news to Sasuke. The medic? Kaisuke asked. She's training you? Sakura smiled triumphantly. Yeah, she is. What in the world was so important that it couldn't wait until after training? Sasuke asked. Kakashi wasn't there yet, but he didn't have all day so he figured they could just start without him seeing as how Naruto was the one to call the meeting. Well, Naruto trailed off. Yeah, it's really big, Sakura told him. And we're actually not quite sure how to let you know this. You could try just spitting it out, Sasuke suggested. We could, Naruto agreed. But with such a delicate topic as this that might not be the most tactful way of handling the situation. Sasuke snorted. What do you know about tactful? Not much, Naruto admitted, which is why if even I don't think that's the best way to handle it, it really isn't the best way. Not to mention that we're not sure how you'll react, Sakura added. She paused. No, scratch that. We're almost positive we know exactly how you're going to react and that's why we don't want to tell you. Then don't tell me, Sasuke said. Or at least work out how you're going to do it. In the meantime, I really do need to get started on my training. No. Naruto and Sakura shouted at the same time. Sasuke raised his eyebrows. What's this? One would almost think you don't want me to get stronger. You aren't afraid I'm going to try and leave to seek vengeance on anyone, do you? Perpetually, Sakura replied. But that's not it. It's just, something big has happened and you're going to find out sooner or later and we'd rather you hear it from us. Then tell me, Sasuke ordered, beginning to sound impatient. Well, you see. Naruto began, sounding rather nervous. Hey, look, it's Gaara. Hi, Gaara. Gaara, who had been passing by the bridge they were standing on, stopped and turned to face him. Yes? So how have you been? Naruto asked. Gaara blinked. Since yesterday? Naruto looked a little sheepish. Yes. I know I can win my matches, Gaara said simply. But to not pass the minimum sanity requirement would make this entire trip a waste of my time. Not a complete waste, hopefully, since you met us and were awesome, Naruto objected. I still want to be a Chunin, Gaara told him. Naruto shrugged. Fair enough. What were the things Dad mentioned? No being more youthful than Guy, I think you're safe with that. There was also no maniac laughter, Sakura added. Do you do that? Very rarely, Gaara replied. And not since I've been here. There was also no killing allies. How many people have you killed since you got here? Naruto asked. Gaara thought about it for a minute. The man I fought in the preliminaries and the 3 from the Forest of Death, he said finally. Well, Sasuke wasn't from Suna and if they didn't expect deaths in the forest they wouldn't have made us sign the waiver, Naruto decided. But wait, didn't Kiba say his team got a scroll from those corpses? If he only killed one team, then how did they get a scroll? Sakura asked. Maybe the team had already gotten 2 scrolls and Temari only took the one they needed, Sasuke suggested. That makes sense, Sakura decided. And the last thing would be don't let personal issues habitually get in the way of your fights. What does that entail? Gaara wanted to know. Well, Naruto trailed off. I guess it means that if you had a crappy childhood, don't keep bringing it up when you're fighting people, or if you were dealt a rotten hand, don't stop in the middle of a fight and lecture people about how they should stop trying to fight fate because they are destined to be losers. In your case, I suppose that would mean not mentioning any resentment you might feel about being a Jinchuriki. Gaara nodded. I can do that. It's only a month, after all. That's the spirit. Naruto cheered. Goodbye, Gaara said before continuing on his way. Think he can do it? Sakura asked as she watched him leave. Naruto shrugged. No idea. But it should be good practice for actually becoming sane and, with luck, Kazekage in the future. If you're quite done with that, I would like to remind you that I have a rather one-track mind and still want to know what was so goddamn important. Sasuke brought them back on topic. We know, Sakura muttered. Yo, Kakashi waved as he appeared in a whirl of leaves. So how did he take it? Do we need to put anyone in protective custody? How did I take what? Sasuke demanded. We didn't actually get around to telling him yet, Naruto admitted. I can see that, Kakashi said, looking horrified. Well, in that case, good luck and I'll be back in 20 minutes. Like hell you will, Sakura said, grabbing his arm. You know more about it than either of us, anyway. You know, I'm sure that whatever it is cannot possibly be as bad as the scenarios I'm envisioning, Sasuke told them. It's probably worse, actually, Naruto disagreed. He took a deep breath. Madara broke Orochimaru out of custody. There was silence for a moment. Sasuke? Naruto asked, waving a hand in front of Sasuke's face. Maybe he's in shock, Kakashi suggested. Could you repeat that? Sasuke said, his voice low. I would rather not, Naruto confessed. Sakura sighed and did as requested. Madara broke Orochimaru out of custody. So Orochimaru is no longer in Konoha, Sasuke stated. No, he probably is, Kakashi corrected. We just don't know where he is and he must have come here for a reason, and unless that reason was annoying Ibiki, he still has whatever mission he's on to accomplish. This wouldn't have happened if you had just let me kill him, Sasuke felt compelled to remind them. How did I know he was going to say that? Sakura asked rhetorically. We had no way of knowing he would escape. Naruto burst out. No one escapes because anyone who could doesn't get captured in the first place. And Madara rescued him? Sasuke continued as if he didn't hear them. He did, Kakashi confirmed. How do you know? Did anyone see him? Sasuke demanded. Well, no, Kakashi admitted. But he did leave a note that said, Tobi is needing Erohebai senpai, so Tobi went and got him. Sorry if you need him too, but this does not mean Tobi is not a good boy. Tobi, so we felt reasonably sure that this was him. Unless there is actually a real Tobi running around and joining the Akatsuki that acted just like Madara did when he was pretending to be him. That's highly unlikely, Sakura noted. Right, Sasuke nodded. If you'll excuse me. Wait, where are you going? Naruto demanded, somewhat panicked. I'm going to go find Orochimaru and Madara and then I'm going to kill them, Sasuke answered as he continued to walk away. Naruto, naturally, decided that there was only one thing he could do in this situation, tackle Sasuke. What the hell, Naruto? Sasuke growled. They are dangerous enemies of Konoha and since they are actually in the village I wouldn't even have to leave. You might be able to beat Orochimaru right now, Naruto said, still not getting off of his friend. I think you'd stand a far better chance after you train with Itachi this month and if the 3 of us are with you, but you could, potentially, pull it off. Just the same, there is no way that you could beat Madara right now. You remember how hard it was before and we were 16. We were way stronger than we are now and the match could have gone either way. Besides, Madara has the full power of the Akatsuki on his side, now. Do you really want to face Orochimaru, Madara, Sasori, possibly Deidara, Kisame, Kakuzu, Haiden, Zetsu, Konan, and Nagato all at once? It'll be fine, Sasuke insisted. Naruto groaned. Oh god, he's delusional. You started him on the topic of revenge, what do you expect? Kakashi asked rhetorically. Naruto glared at him. It's not my fault Madara showed up. This isn't just some stupid grudge, Sasuke bit out. Madara didn't just screw my family over by creating an antagonistic relationship with the rest of the village and summoning the Kyuubi to attack right before Naruto was born, prompting my brother to feel the need to kill everyone and spend the next 8 years playing at being evil in Akatsuki, but he also destroyed half the village, made Naruto a pariah, formed Akatsuki, and had Konoha completely destroyed as well as declaring war on everyone. If he's not stopped, he'll just do it again. That man won't stop, can't stop until he destroys Konoha. That's very sound reasoning, Sakura applauded. But you're still only saying that because you want vengeance. No I'm not, Sasuke denied. Maybe we can compromise, Kakashi suggested. Sasuke glared at him. Compromise? How can we compromise? I want to kill both Madara and Orochimaru. You don't want me to go off and kill either of them. So, would I only get to kill one of them or something? And get off of me, Naruto. Not until you promise not to run away, Naruto said stubbornly. I won't leave to seek vengeance until after this conversation is over, Sasuke promised. Naruto didn't budge. And the conversation isn't over until we say it's over. Sasuke rolled his eyes. Fine, whatever. Naruto got up and, looking highly affronted, Sasuke climbed to his feet. It's too bad Kiba wasn't here, Sakura mused. He could have done a lot with that. Feeling the full force of both boys' glares on her, she quickly amended. I mean, it's a good thing Kiba wasn't here. He never would have let that go. We could let you kill one and not the other, Kakashi agreed once that was sorted out. But that's really only the most basic form. And it's not like we don't want you to kill them, Sasuke snorted. We just don't want you to kill them right now, Kakashi continued, studiously ignoring him. Whatever they're planning, it's not going to take place today because if they're going to do something during the exams when there's so much increased security, they're going to wait until the tournament like Orochimaru did with his little invasion. Take this month, train obsessively, and then if and when they try anything, you can be there to try and seek vengeance. Let me get this straight, you're okay with a plan that involves me seeking vengeance? Sasuke couldn't believe it. What happened to all that talk about how it won't make me feel better and it will just end up causing a circle of hatred or whatever? That's chain of hatred, Naruto helpfully corrected. I don't care, Sasuke said bluntly. I still believe that, Kakashi informed him, but since there doesn't actually appear to be anything on the planet capable of convincing you that revenge is a bad idea even though after all you've been through on your epic quest for it, you should be thoroughly convinced of it, I'm just advocating delaying it until you get a chance to get stronger and it will serve a greater purpose than just your need for vengeance. They could very well invade Konoha again and seek to destroy it and you think it's a better idea to wait for that to happen than just taking them on now? Sasuke sounded incredulous. Yes, Kakashi said simply. Explain, Sasuke ordered. If that happens all of Konoha's finest will be out to try and minimize the damage and take out the invaders and it won't just be a 13-year-old against two of the most dangerous people Konoha has ever produced, Kakashi pointed out. And God knows if Kakashi and I didn't do everything we could to stop you from dying in the name of revenge, Naruto would never speak to us again, Sakura added. Especially since we'd gotten you past that in one piece before we came back. Naruto nodded. It's true, I probably wouldn't. Sasuke tilted his head back as he tried to make a decision. On the one hand, he really wanted revenge. On the other, he didn't want to die before he got it. Or after, really, seeing as how his life was actually pretty good at the moment. Not to mention that he didn't trust his team not to go back again and this time blame the massacre. Subscribe to Infinite Novel for more adventures. Chapter 18 Disclaimer, I do not own Naruto. Note, as several people pointed out, Sasuke did take the news a lot better than he could have. And given it took an entire chapter just to convince him to wait a month, that's kind of saying something. Still, since the series isn't over yet, in my version Sasuke is somehow involved in Naruto's defeat of Madara, so since he already got his revenge once, it's easier to wait. And Sasuke's coming off as comparatively more mature and less revenge-obsessed than he actually is to Konoha at large because since coming back he didn't think advertising his obsessive need for vengeance would be the best plan as he lives with one of them people who actually did the massacring. I should get going, too, Sakura said. If Tsunade-sensei is even remotely as scary as I remember, I do not want to be late. I think you're overreacting, Kakashi told her. After all, with all her concern about not appearing her true age, her reaction to Naruto christening her Baa-chan was relatively mild. In fact, I think you actually reacted harsher to Naruto being an idiot or insulting Sasuke and that was before you had training under her. Yeah, Sakura acknowledged. But the MSR wasn't put into play until after Tsunade-sensei made Jounin. Kakashi shuddered at the possible implications. By Sakura-chan, Naruto said as he also set off towards where he was to meet his teacher. Unlike Sakura, however, he knew Jiraiya wouldn't care if he was late and might not even notice depending on whether or not he was feeling inspired. He really hoped that they weren't supposed to be training by the onsen again as if that was the case Jiraiya would want the chance to let loose his, well, not really inner, but sometimes thinly disguised, pervert and if nothing else the first day wouldn't be one with a lot of downtime. Why are you following me? Naruto asked without bothering to turn around. Kakashi shrugged. I've got nothing better to do. Because you can't be bothered to teach your students anything, Naruto accused. Is it really my fault all of my students already know the basic skills they need to have to become Chunin because they're time travelers? Kakashi asked rhetorically. Naruto did stop then so he could turn around and give Kakashi an incredulous look. Okay, so maybe it is, Kakashi conceded. But since, as you so graciously pointed out, I'm not doing much in terms of your training this month, I should probably meet up with your father to see what he wants me to do about Orochimaru's escape and make sure everyone's convinced that the Akatsuki are involved because aside from Jiraiya, I'm really the only adult who would have any way of knowing about Tobi's connection to them. That's disturbingly responsible of you, Naruto noted. But then, I guess the prospect of a mass Akatsuki invasion is serious enough to warrant that. Indeed it is, Kakashi agreed. That still doesn't explain why you're following me, though, Naruto pointed out. If there's any chance you're getting the summoning today and, as such, are obligated to get completely wasted, your father's going to be there, Kakashi pointed out. So by following you I can see him. You know, speaking of my father, Naruto said slowly. He's supposed to be this super awesome ninja, right? I mean, I've never really seen him in action, but his reputation precedes him. I should think you haven't, Kakashi exclaimed. As one of the few responsible adults in the ninja world, he would have killed anyone that was supposed to be watching you who let you anywhere near a situation that required him to use his skills. That sucks, Naruto huffed. I mean, I suppose I can appreciate the sentiment, but still, were you going somewhere with this? Kakashi wondered. Naruto looked puzzled. What? Oh, right. If my father's so amazing that his entry in the bingo book says to flee on sight, why in the world would Suna, or anyone, for that matter, agree to attack the village he's cage of? Your father's Hiraishin no Jutsu is much more effective with an ally, so if they can isolate him like Orochimaru did with the sand aim and the barrier, they would stand a much better chance of an actual fight. And if Akatsuki manage to control or replace the Kaze cage, Suna is going to invade regardless of how stupid and suicidal they might think it is. Remember the rather unfortunate tendency most ninja have of seeing themselves as tools to be used? Kakashi asked. True, Naruto nodded. When did you get out of that mindset? Kakashi shrugged. Well, it started when I decided my team was more important than a mission back before you were even born and culminated when I went back in time and have spent 12 or 13 years as a close personal friend of the Hokage. That would do it, I guess. Hey look, it's Team 8. Greetings Hinata, Shino, Kurane, Naruto called out, waving. Aren't you forgetting someone? Hinata asked quietly. Oh, right, Naruto realized. Hi, Akamaru. Long time, no see. She meant me, you idiot, Kiba grumbled. Oh, it's the Yaoi fanboy, Naruto said, making a face. I am not a fanboy, Kiba insisted. You two are just so not subtle. What are you guys doing? Naruto asked, ignoring that. Hinata and I are helping Shino and Kiba prepare for the finals, Kurane answered. Really? But don't they run the risk of fighting against each other? Kakashi asked. That's why most teams that have more than one member find different instructors for the genin that would benefit less from their personal instruction, or make them find their own, Naruto muttered. You and Sasuke came with built-in teachers and I offered Ebisu for Sakura but she made other arrangements, Kakashi reminded him. Due to the nature of this tournament, Kiba being number 9 and me being number 1, we would not face each other until the finals and the odds of both of us making it to the final round is very small. Additionally, I would be fighting 2 matches before any 3 so it is not like any new techniques would remain a secret and as teammates we already know each other's fighting style, Shino explained. Naruto just stood there, gaping. Are you alright, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked, sounding concerned. Yeah. I just have never heard Shino say that much before, Naruto confessed. Ever. Hey, Naruto, since I'm fighting your secret boyfriend, do you have any tips for me? Kiba asked. He is not my secret boyfriend. Naruto cried. Well you've yet to come out to me, Kiba replied. So, do you? Despite the fact I want Sasuke to win, I suppose I could warn you not to do anything to trigger his revenge impulses that's partly for my sake as well, Naruto told him. Kiba groaned. Too late for that. Although in my defense, our siblings are dating. That's such a wonderful opportunity to annoy him. He didn't sound nearly as concerned as Naruto though he should be, but if Naruto managed to keep Sasuke a genin by exposing his revenge impulses, Sasuke would very likely kill him, so he let it go. Well then you're not going to have a fun match. Naruto turned to the other member of Team 8 that was in the finals. And Shino, I know you didn't ask but in the interest of fairness, Gaara said that he's going to try not to kill anyone so he has a better chance of making Chuunin, but don't push your luck. Shino nodded his gratitude. That sounds like sound advice. That was very thoughtful, Naruto-kun, Hinata told him, smiling. Naruto shrugged. Yeah well, we should let you get back to your training. After Sakura had arrived, she found out that Tsunade was in the middle of a surgery so Shizune had given Sakura a very thorough examination on the basics. She could tell that she impressed the dark-haired girl and afterwards she was quickly shown to the slug Sunin. Before we begin, Tsunade said, do you have any idea what you want to specialize in? We don't have time to make you an expert in what you choose to do, but keeping in mind how you'd like to utilize your skills is always a smart move. Not really, Sakura confessed. Do you have any suggestions? Not without seeing you in action, no, Tsunade said, shaking her head. Some medic-nin focus on medical ninjutsu can be used to kill through the creation of deadly poisons or by using your extensive knowledge of the humanity anatomy to deliver powerful blows to sensitive locations. I myself have a reputation for being able to cure any illness that comes my way. I heard from Sasuke that you managed to make the Mangekyo Sharingan safe for him to use, Sakura said, sounding a little odd despite herself. Tsunade nodded and Sakura could see a glimmer of pride in her eyes. Took me the better part of 2 years to do, but I managed it. So what are we going to start with? Sakura asked eagerly. You have the basics mastered, which means we won't have to waste time covering those. Instead, we can work on making sure that you're going to be able to stay conscious and uninjured long enough to make use of them, Tsunade informed her innocently. Sakura knew better though, and her eyes widened in horror. You mean? Tsunade nodded. That's right, she said gleefully. We're going to work on your taijutsu, which means that for the next few days you're going to be my own personal punching bag. Sakura groaned. It probably still wouldn't be enough to beat Niji. I've heard that you've done extensive work on taijutsu with Kakashi these past few months, Itachi started off by saying. Of course, I'd still like to see that for myself to see how much progress you've made. Your speed, in particular, is very important. But first, do you still have any questions about the Mangekyou Sharingan, or do you think you have that down? I have a question about the Tsukuyomi, Sasuke said. I know it is one of the if not the most powerful genjutsu in existence, but what can it do? When I was using it on Orochimaru, I trapped him in a looped memory of Ino and Sakura dragging me with them when they went shopping. Itachi raised his eyebrow. That was what you did? He was comatose for nearly a week. Sasuke shrugged. It certainly traumatized me. It will only get worse when you get older, Itachi promised him. Fortunately, Hana's not very interested in shopping. Lucky, Sasuke muttered. To answer your question, the Tsukuyomi can serve as anything really, as it traps the target in an illusionary world that is completely controlled by the user. While it only takes a few seconds for the user to complete, for the target it can seem like days. I found that either torture the target or make them relive a traumatic event over and over for what seems like days is highly effective, Itachi told him. So it doesn't even have to be used as torture, Sasuke mused. I suppose not, Itachi agreed. But it's such a powerful and chakra draining technique that unless you needed to quickly incapacitate your target or wanted to traumatize them, it isn't worth using. Anything else you might want to do with it, there are probably less powerful genjutsu for. Does it really matter what you use to traumatize them? Sasuke asked. Because, say, if I felt the need to go after my teammates, I could show them a world where everyone was eating ramen but they couldn't have any, or take them back to their fangirl days, respectively. Or if it were Kakashi or Obito, I could just overrun them with squirrels, as that seems to remind them of some sort of traumatizing mission they had in the past. If you knew enough about them you could certainly do that, Itachi nodded. Although if they are your opponent, you probably won't get the chance to learn that much about them. He paused. And one of these days we have to get that story from them. Okay, I want you to show me what you can do, and then, if you've improved enough, at the end of the month I'll show you how to do the Raiznan, Jiraiya promised. Even though your dad would probably kill me. Ah, well, I have a moth to talk him around. Actually, Erosenin, I already know how to do that, Naruto told him. Jiraiya's eyes widened. What? How? Your father's weight. Chapter 19 Disclaimer, I do not own Naruto. Note, I know that Kakashi can do a Raiznan, but since I'm pretty sure he learned after Obito's death and he never, ever uses it, for whatever reason, so no one really knows that he can do it. Also, I've never actually been drunk or spent much time with drunk people, so I'm really not sure how accurate that part will be. Kakashi was mildly drunk. He had wanted to stay completely sober, but as Naruto, Jiraiya, Gamabunta, and even Minato all drinking, he felt obliged to have some as well. Of course, he was glad he did, because by the time Naruto managed to get drunk, which took quite a bit of sake thanks to the Kyuubi, he probably would have had a panic attack were he sober. Jiraiya and Gamabunta, despite apparently being regular drinking bodies, were also quite drunk, while he and Minato were only slightly intoxicated. Minato had refrained from overindulging as he didn't want to set a bad example by getting wasted in the middle of the day, while Kakashi was just worried that Naruto would end up spilling the beans on the fact that they were from the future. Of course, the boy was so drunk that no one would believe him, but Team 7 occasionally acted odd enough that if anyone attempted to figure out what was up with them, he didn't want Naruto to inadvertently point them in the right direction. Erosenin, I missed you when you died, Naruto said solemnly. Died? Jiraiya blinked a couple of times. Who died, kid? I didn't die. Naruto laughed suddenly. I know. Isn't that great? I love you, Erosenin. With that he stood shakily, wobbled over to his godfather, and practically collapsed on his lap. If only you was a girl, Jiraiya shook his head ruefully. And not 12. Or Minato's kid. Gamabunta chuckled throatily. So if only he was the exact opposite of himself? You'd be better off wishing that about someone with less to change. Jiraiya thought about that for a minute. Well, I do like blondes. I am not hearing this, Minato moaned. Jiraiya-sensei likes blondes. Don't be too put out, Minato-sensei, Kakashi tried to console him, doing his best to ignore the buzzing in his head. From what I can tell he likes most anything female and of age, and Naruto is neither. No, he's not, Minato agreed. He can do the Raiznan, though. How long did it take you to teach him? Oh, it took him a good month, I'd say. I told him what I knew about it when we left for Wave, Kakashi lied. Why didn't you tell me? Minato demanded. That was a good 2 months ago. You're very overprotective, and I wasn't sure if you'd be okay with me teaching him such a risky jutsu, Kakashi covered. Once he had it down I couldn't complain, Minato argued. Well, much. And then there was what happened after you found out just a little about what happened in Wave, Kakashi continued. Minato looked stricken. You let my son die. That was completely different. Maybe I didn't want to take that chance, Kakashi sniffed. And what you should be doing is asking Naruto why he didn't tell you, as he wouldn't get in trouble if you didn't like my teaching methods. There, now that was Naruto's problem. Kakashi was even reasonably sure that he deserved it as the boy was currently causing all sorts of problems for him. And then he told me that I didn't understand because our situations weren't exactly the same. Like anybody's gonna have the exact same sob story. Isn't it enough we were both orphans? What? You're not an orphan, Jiraiya pointed out. Remember, Naruto, orphan means both parents are dead, not just one. Kakashi quickly stepped in. I know that. I'm not stupid, Naruto pouted. No, but you are extremely drunk, Kakashi countered. I am not, Naruto declared, climbing unsteadily to his feet. Of course, then he promptly fell over so the effect was rather lessened. You didn't teach Sasuke or Sakura the Rasengan, did you? Minato asked, worried that Kakashi had decided to up and teach A-rank jutsus to every minor he interacted with. Team 7 was his first attempt at teaching anyone who hadn't been in Umbu, after all. Of course not, Kakashi denied. I only taught Naruto the Rasengan because you invented it and he was going to learn it at some point anyway. Minato looked relieved. I'm sorry, I should have known you wouldn't be so reckless. I did teach Sasuke the Chidori, though, Kakashi admitted. And Sakura. Minato looked almost afraid of the answer. Just the taijutsu and increasing her chakra reserves. Her control is perfect, but she doesn't have enough of it for any of the heavy hitters yet, Kakashi replied. Hey, Kakashi. Naruto had managed to get to his feet again and stumble over to his fellow time traveler. You know how the Chidori's supposed to be an assassination thingy? As I created it, the odds of me having that knowledge is quite good, Kakashi confirmed. Is that a no? Naruto asked after trying and failing to figure out what that meant. Kakashi sighed. No, that's a yes. No, that's a yes. Naruto didn't understand that either. Yes, I do know that Chidori is supposed to be an assassination jutsu, Kakashi clarified. So, assassinations are supposed to be quiet, so why's the Chidori sound like birds? Naruto asked, surprisingly reasonable considered he was too wasted to walk straight. Jiraiya and Gamabunta had apparently been playing a game of some sort as Gamabunta was loudly accusing the Sunin of cheating. How does he know what the Chidori sounds like? Minato asked suspiciously. Thinking quickly, Kakashi replied, he saw me showing it to Sasuke. Don't worry, he and Sakura were far enough away not to be in any danger from it. He does have a point about it being too loud for an assassination jutsu, Minato decided. When you're only assassinating one person, by the time they hear the Chidori, they're already dead. Kakashi defended his prize jutsu. Besides, if we can have orange-clad ninja, then I can have a nature-oriented killing technique. What's wrong with being an orange-clad ninja? Naruto demanded. It's not very stealthy, for one, Kakashi answered. Do I need to be? Naruto was honestly curious. Ninja usually were before we settled down and formed villages, Minato replied. Oh, well, that's stupid. I'd rather be orange than stealthy, Naruto announced. No kidding, Kakashi muttered. Hey, Jiraiya's head suddenly shot up and he stumbled his way over to them. Naruto still gots to ride on Gamabunta to see if he passes the test. Kakashi eyed Naruto critically. Are you sure that's such a good idea? He can barely stand. Not to worry, he can sit on my head, Gamabunta assured him. Just as long as he doesn't fall off. I can do it, Naruto insisted. I did it before and I can do it again. We've never met before, kid, Gamabunta told him. Yeah, we have. It was a long time ago, before I went back and Naruto started to say before Kakashi clamped a hand over his mouth. That quite enough of that, don't you think, he said sternly. He really hoped Naruto could keep his mouth closed while he was riding around on Gamabunta. Don't worry, Kakashi, Naruto stage whispered. I won't give away our secret. Kakashi smacked his forehead. At the rate this was going, he wouldn't be too sure about that. What secret? Minato asked darkly. Why are you and my son keeping secrets from me? Kakashi groaned. That was it. Naruto was never allowed to go drinking again. Sakura could barely move after her first day of training. She was fairly certain that Tsunade had gone easier on her when she had first started in the old timeline, but then she supposed that since she had some experience this time the Slug Sunin had figured she could handle it. No to mention she only had a month to train for the finals. Sakura decided to take the scenic route home to try and see if she could regain enough chakra to heal herself a bit or find someplace to clean herself up as she really didn't want her civilian parents to see her and get concerned. On her way past the barbecue place, she saw Team 10 Sanzasuma eating right in front and decided that she might as well put her return home off further and say hi. Hey guys, she greeted them with a smile. Hi Foray, are you alright? Ino asked, concerned. You look like you just got the crap beaten out of you. I kind of did, Sakura admitted. Just tell me who did it and I swear to God they are going down, Ino growled. Oh, it's nothing like that, Sakura assured her friend. It's just part of my training for the exam. Really? Ino asked skeptically. Why aren't you doing anything like that, Shikamaru? Troublesome, Shikamaru murmured, resting his head on the table. What? Ino demanded. He said troublesome, Koji helpfully repeated. I knew that. Ino insisted. Then why did you ask what he said? Koji asked reasonably. I was being dramatic. Ino shook her head. My teammates have no sense of melodrama. And my teammates are all suffering from an excess, Sakura replied. I think that's worse, actually. If you say so, Ino sounded unconvinced. She poked Shikamaru's head. If you don't take your training seriously then how in the world do you expect to be able to avenge me in the finals? Sakura froze. I avenge you. Ino nodded. Yeah, against that Tamari girl that I went up against in the preliminaries. Shikamaru's going up against her in the first round. Vengeance is not the answer SASER, Ino, Sakura amended. Ino looked at her questioningly at the slip-up, but didn't ask about it. I understand that I needed a wake-up call. This exam has made me realize more than anything that this is not a game, but did she really have to be so brutal about it? Sakura shrugged helplessly. Suna's a different world, Ino. She didn't have to go out of her way to humiliate me like that, Ino pointed out. Just being outmatched was enough. I know, but... Sakura hesitated. Do you really have to use the word vengeance? I kind of have a minor panic attack every time I hear that word or any variation of it. Why? Koji asked, reaching for another plate of barbecue. Well, Sakura trailed off. Talking to Sasuke about vengeance probably counted as encouraging him, especially as it would be something that they temporarily had in common and Ino still liked him, even if she did seem to be making an honest effort to be more serious about being a kunoichi. You normally have to say that to Sasuke, right? Shikamaru asked. And apparently quite often. How did you know? Sakura asked, surprised. He's the most likely one on your team to be after vengeance after what Orochimaru did, Shikamaru replied with a shrug. He is so tragic, Ino swooned. He also doesn't like talking about it, so unless you want to piss him off, don't mention it, Sakura advised. Of course I'm not going to do that, Ino exclaimed. What do you take me for, oblivious? Sasuke was sitting in a clearing in the woods trying to improve his control over Amaterasu. Given the fact that if he made a mistake, he'd have a forest fire on his hands and it hadn't rained in a while, that was some pretty powerful incentive to not mess this up. I'm telling you, Lee, it's probably just someone practicing a jutsu. Niji's voice sounded from a little ways behind him. But Niji, forest fires are so unyouthful, Lee protested. Don't you agree, Tenten? I think it doesn't matter what I think as we're going to investigate either way, Tenten responded as Team Guy stepped into view. Ah, it is my eternal rival, Lee said, pointing at Sasuke dramatically. Niji raised an eyebrow. I thought I was your so-called eternal rival, Careful, Niji, you sound jealous, Tenten teased. I'm not, Niji insisted, glaring at her. And it looks like I was right about the jutsu practice. Do not worry, Niji. Just because Gai-sensei only has one eternal rival does not mean that it is not possible to have more than one, Lee assured him. Since when am I your eternal rival? Sasuke wanted to know. Since Sakura revealed that she was madly in love with you, of course, Lee declared. She said she used to like me, Sasuke reminded him. And that we're not going to worry about our hormones until after we make Chuyunin. And I will fight you since we both made it to the finals, Lee nodded. I remember. Lee, Tenten said. The way the tournament is set up, you'll only fight Sasuke if you both make it to the final round. Then make it to the final round I shall, Lee decided. What about you? Will you meet me there? I'll definitely make it, Sasuke said. But whether I'll see you there or not is another story. Your first opponent is Naruto, after all, and he's my eternal rival. How youthful, Lee gushed. You guys will need to get past me first and I simply do not see that happening, Niji interjected. You wouldn't meet Lee until the final round if you made it that far, but I will definitely defeat you. If Sakura doesn't do it for me, Sasuke said almost as an afterthought. Niji snorted. The pink-haired girl? She may have beaten Hinata-sama, but I could have done it in a fraction of the time. She is fated to lose that match. 27 minutes, Tenten announced. What? Sasuke asked, confused. Tenten keeps track of how long Niji goes without talking about fate, Lee explained. I don't believe in fate, Sasuke declared. It does not matter if you believe or not, Niji said. What is meant to be will be. That is such an easy thing to say, Tenten spoke up. After something is already done, it is the easiest thing in the world to claim that there was no other way for it to have played out, even though a different choice would have resulted in a different outcome. True, Niji allowed. But a different choice was not made because it was not fated to be made. I actually agree with Tenten on this one, Sasuke said. I can all too clearly see a world where Kakashi didn't lead an angry mob by my house the night of a massacre so everyone would know Orochimaru was responsible and so my brother would be blamed and I'd spend the rest of my life trying to kill him. Just think, if Kakashi had taken a different path that night, or not pissed off so many people. But that didn't happen, Niji said decisively. Because that's absurd. You're telling me, Sasuke murmured. Sasuke and Sakura were already waiting at Ichiraku Ramen when Naruto bounded in, as full of energy as ever. Kakashi trailed after him, holding a hand in front of his eyes. Is he alright? Sakura asked, concerned. Why yes, I'm... Chapter 20 Disclaimer, I do not own Naruto. The day of the Chuyunin exam finals arrived at last. Concerned about Minato's safety since not only Orochimaru but at the very least Madara had their eye on Konoha, Kakashi talked the Hokage into letting him into the cage box as a guard. It would have been easier to convince Minato to have either Rin or Obito in there as well given there were his team, but Obito was proctoring and Rin was on healing Chuyunin hopefuls duty. Instead, Kakashi had eventually managed to persuade Minato to have Itachi as another guard. Hopefully the three of them would be enough should anything happen. Sasuke, Sakura, Naruto, Temari, Gaara, Shikamaru, Kiba, Niji, Lee, and Shino were all gathered on the arena floor for some last-minute instructions from their proctor, who would be showing up any time now, they were sure. Where is he? Sakura asked irritably, turning to Sasuke. How should I know? Sasuke snapped back. You live with him. Sakura reminded him. He left the house before I did, Sasuke told her. So honestly, I have no idea. What do you think, Naruto? Sakura asked. I can't believe Sasuke actually showed up on time, Naruto said, shaking his head in bemusement. Because, last time shut up, Sasuke ordered. That wasn't my fault. You never did tell us what took so long, Sakura remarked. Sasuke shivered. You're better off not knowing, believe me. Tell me, Naruto demanded. You know how Kakashi always had the most idiotic excuses for why he was late? Sasuke asked rhetorically. Well, it turns out that while he did spend most of that time staring at the memorial, he also got into some of the most bizarre situations. That poor tree. What happened? Sakura pressed. But Sasuke refused to say any more on the subject. Frustrated, Naruto turned to Gaara. So how was your month? I haven't killed anyone in 30 days, Gaara informed him. I'm actually at a loss as to when the last time I went 7 days without killing anyone was. Naruto winced. That's great, but you might not want to mention that in front of any of the people involved in the exam, or that might get back to my dad. Most genin don't kill anyone, so to do it so frequently might make him wonder. Gaara nodded. Duly noted. It was kind of funny, though, Temari confided. Poor Kankuro is still convinced you guys did something or made a doppelganger or whatnot. Naruto feigned innocence. I don't know what you're talking about. I noticed you guys because of those evil soulless puppets of Kankuros, and my empathy for you guys having to deal with something like that on a daily basis might have propelled me to talk to you, but I love meeting new people. We really did just treat you guys like everybody else. Exactly, Temari stressed. That just doesn't happen. Naruto looked confused. Oh, because you guys are the kids of the Kaze cage? Well, I'm the son of the Hokage, so that's not really such a big deal for me either. Never mind, Temari said, shaking her head ruefully. Did my opponent for the first round just fall asleep? Naruto quickly glanced over at Shikamaru, who had sat down and seemed to be snoring. It would appear so, he agreed. Oh, this is so not fair, Temari complained. How did I get stuck with such a lame opponent? If you think he's so lame, it should be an easy victory, right? Naruto asked her. Easy and impressive are not necessarily one and the same, and there is no way me taking down someone who won't even stay conscious now will ever be seen as impressive, Temari replied. Well, there will be other matches? Naruto offered. Being late is so unyouthful, Lee said mournfully. I really want to have my most youthful match with Naruto. Hello everyone, sorry I'm late, Obito said, strolling into the arena. There was this tree and, well, you're probably better off not knowing. Definitely better off if it was what I think it was, Sasuke agreed quietly. Oh god, not another story you refuse to elaborate on. Sakura groaned. We haven't even gotten the squirrel story yet. To be fair, I don't know what happened either, Sasuke told her. But I will, so help me, I will. Okay, before we start I just want to make sure everyone remembers who they are fighting, Obito said. How could someone forget who they're fighting? Kiba demanded. You couldn't possibly specialize your training specifically around your first opponent if you don't know who it is. I don't know who I'm fighting, Naruto said. I know Sakura's fighting Neji, Shino's against Gaara, Sasuke and Kiba have a grudge match, and Shikamaru's with Temari of course. No, wait, I guess I do know who I'm fighting after all. By process of elimination, Shino noted. Naruto shrugged. What works, works. You realize Lee just mentioned he was fighting you, right? Neji asked. Naruto shook his head. Nope, I must not have been paying attention. So what else is new? Shikamaru murmured. Okay, since Naruto just reminded anyone else who might have forgotten of the match UPS, I'm going to move on to reminding you that there are no rules here except that you need to keep the fight down here and no firing into the crowd. Seriously, you have no idea what that would do to our tourist industry. Obito shook his head at the thought. So aside from giving our fights geographical boundaries and not killing potential customers, anything's fair game? Temari asked. Obito nodded. Absolutely. The matches go until either one party gives up or dies. If it's clear that one party cannot continue to fight, I will call the match. If you do not stop after I do so, you will be disqualified. Also, if a death looks completely senseless, it will be allowed, but it will really hurt your chances of passing the MSR, so I wouldn't recommend it. Now unless there are any more questions, the first fight is Gaara versus Shino, so everyone else clear out. So how do you think Gaara will do? Minato asked the Kaze cage. I have full faith in his abilities, the Kaze cage responded with confidence. I may not know much about his opponent, but I am certain that Gaara can come out victorious. Shino does bugs, Kakashi announced. And while his victory would undoubtedly be amusing, I'm still pulling for Gaara. Really? Minato glanced back at him. But Shino is from Konoha. Yes, do you find it at all strange that of 10 finalists there are 2 from Suna and the other 8 are from Konoha? The Kaze cage asked. There are always more candidates entered from the nation that hosts the exam, Minato responded. From what I understand, 6 of your 8 are rookies, though, the Kaze cage pointed out. This is simply unheard of. We have a very talented group of rookies this year, Minato explained. Clearly, to answer your question, Hokage-sama, I bet on Gaara, Kakashi replied. You should have more faith in your village, Minato chided. I have plenty of faith, Kakashi insisted. But I just don't see how bugs can take down sand armor. You also bet on the Kazekige's daughter, Itachi reminded him. Minato frowned disapprovingly. Well, yeah, Kakashi sounded sheepish. But in my defense, Shikamaru doesn't really seem to want to be here, so I can't imagine he'll be willing to face 3 matches. You are one of the Jounin senseis who has a team still in the exam, yes? The Kazekage asked. Kakashi looked mildly surprised. Yes I am. Is it really fair of you to be placing bets then, given that you have intimate information on at least one of the genin? The Kazekage continued. 3, actually, Kakashi corrected, a hint of pride in his voice. And as far as I'm concerned, if it's legal, it's fair. Besides, I wasn't even really planning on betting on all of them. Let me get this straight, Minato said, raising his eyebrows. Naruto knows the Rasengan and signed with the Toads, and Sasuke knows the Chidori and has a Mangekyo Sharingan, and you wanted to bet against them? Well, not them, Kakashi admitted. Sakura, though, but Itachi wouldn't let me. You need to have more faith in your team, Itachi insisted. If she finds out that her own Jounin sensei has no faith in her, it will have a debilitating effect on her performance. And if she does not pass, Sasuke is in for a very rough year. It's not like I don't have faith in her, Kakashi defended himself. I do, it's just, Niji. Hyogan Niji, the Kazekage perked up. I had heard he was quite the prodigy. He is the one who beat my other son, Kankuro, so handily? Niji is quite gifted, Minato acknowledged. I'm glad, the Kazekage remarked. From what I've gathered, Kankuro's defeat was shameful, so I would at least prefer the victor be skilled. Sakura beat Niji's cousin Hinata, Itachi pointed out. And they are young enough to rely heavily on the same family style. Niji's a lot better than Hinata, Kakashi countered. Although you are right, she does know how to beat that, just whether or not she can. She trained with Tsunade, hopefully that will have given her some results. Betting against one's team is far more dicey than betting on them, Minato informed him. Why's that? Kakashi asked. Because if she does lose, then people will cry foul and claim she threw the match, Minato explained. Sakura? Throw a match? Not a chance, Kakashi declared. And like I said, I couldn't bet against her, so I put a little down in her favor. The odds are so against her that on the off chance she wins, I'll make a killing. May our fight be honorable and impressive, Shino said politely once the arena floor had been cleared of everyone but him, his opponent, and the proctor. Gaara merely nodded. Ready, begin, Obito said, before stepping back. Gaara and Shino stared at each other for a moment, both preferring not to be the one to make the first move. Then Gaara sent an experimental wave of sand at Shino, who merely stood there. The sand enveloped the Abarame up to his neck and Gaara slowly tightened the sand around him. It cannot be that easy, Naruto complained. Come on Shino, do something. Shino's battles are always kind of boring, Kiba confided. But that doesn't mean that he's going down on the first hit. Sure enough, as Gaara continued to squeeze Shino's body, it broke apart to reveal it had been but a bug clone. The real Shino, standing a good 20 feet away from his dispersed clone, sent those bugs Gaara's way, only to be stopped by Gaara's automatic sand shield. So wait, the fight is going to consist of Gaara being unable to get at Shino because he'll keep switching them out for bugs and Shino not being fast enough to get through to Gaara? Sakura summarized. Looks like it, Sasuke agreed. Which won't be very much fun to watch. At least it might take a while, Shikamaru spoke up. The whole exam is so very troublesome. Then why are you even here? Temari demanded. Because dealing with Asuma, Ino, and, scariest of all, my mother if I don't make it is even more troublesome, Shikamaru explained with a yawn. Oh, I will show you troublesome, Temari growled. Save the flirting for the match, Temari, Naruto advised absently. The Suna Kunoichi turned incredulous and angry eyes on him and he quickly ducked behind Sasuke. Hide me, oh human shield, Naruto implored. Sasuke couldn't believe this kind of thing kept happening to him. Stay back, Naruto told Temari, pushing Sasuke in front of him. He's too cute to die. Kiba immediately perked up at this. Is that a dash not? One word, Sasuke said dangerously. Difficult match or what? Kiba continued without missing a beat. If they can't get to each other then they can't end the match or even really showcase their skills. After a few more false starts on both of their ends, Gaara seemed to come to a decision. He sent his sand out again, slow enough for Shino to replace himself with a clone as he had been doing, but this time instead of just trying to immobilize him, he wrapped Shino's bug clone completely in sand. Before Shino could do anything, Gaara clenched his fist tightly and said, Sabakus Soso. Instead of the customary blood and gore this technique usually brought, when the sand imploded it left little black shredded remains from the hundreds of bugs forming the Shino clone everywhere. My bugs, Shino said quietly. I may have no plans to kill you, Gaara said slowly, but I have no compunctions about completely wiping out your army of insects. If you keep using them to shield you then I will destroy them all. Once I do that, I will be able to attack you directly. Shino stood silently for a moment contemplating the news. Finally, he said, there is nothing to be done then. Why? Because this match is not worth the destruction of my colony. I forfeit. The winner is Gaara, Obito announced. The next match is between Naruto and Lee. As soon as we clear out all the bugs. Naruto met Gaara on the stairs back to where the rest of the Chuunin hopefuls had gathered. Wow, that match looked so incredibly frustrating I was getting annoyed. Yes, I think I am beginning to understand why an impenetrable defense like mine would get to be. Subscribe to Infinite Novel for more adventures.